I'm in the mood for
Check me out, I'm dancing! I'm dancing!
a different zone. Specifically, I'm going to talk about unconventional character builds. And don't worry, I'm still working on my Oblivion Lost 2010 Let's Play.
Hey, traveler!
But alongside that, I think I might start doing some Borderlands strategy guide style videos. And who knows, I might decide to do a Let's Play of Borderlands 1 or 2. Most likely 1. If I do that, I'll create a new Morty, most likely, without any preconceived notions of how the build will end up, and just sort of go with it. Here are the characters I have built. You can see their names kind of have themes to them. Rigby, obviously, in reference to regular show, which I don't really watch all that often. And of course, I'm hardly the first one to make that reference. I'm just more of an Adventure Time kind of guy. Sorter, also a Morty. This was my second Morty build. My first one got corrupted. It's the only save game I've ever had get corrupted in Borderlands 1. Sorter, you would have had to have seen the movie Revolver to know who Sorter is. That movie is worth watching at least to see that character in action. He's awesome. Lando, of course, Lando Calrissian. Gina from Half-Life and Half-Life Decay. Doris, where did I get that from? I think Vampire Hunter D, the one from 1985. Not to be confused with Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust, which I've never seen. My understanding is it's based on the third book.
Oh, come on, let's get down. Come on, everybody. Check me
Bardo.
out. I'm dancing.
Brick Bardo. If you're a fan of full moon movies, you'll get that one. Brick Bardo is Tim Thomerson's character from Dahl Man. Trancers. The original Trancers is one of my all-time favorite full moon flicks. I like it better than Dahl Man. Dahl Man is an entertaining watch, though. Marv, my first brick build. And of course, that would be Marv from SimCity. And Apone, my first Roland build from Aliens. My most unconventional character build so far is Rigby, so let's start him up. What makes him unconventional? Shotgun skill is the highest. Also, I color my characters according to their favorite manufacturer. Their two favorite manufacturers. Or my two favorite on that particular build. And by favorite, I just mean most used. This is supposed to be an OD green sort of color. I don't know if that's how it looks on your screen. On mine, it's questionable as a shade of green, but let's just assume this is OD green. Of course, that represents Dahl, which is my second favorite brand on this build. And my first favorite is Hyperion, which is why I chose red for his upper body, green for his lower body. But why shotguns as Morty, you might ask? Why not revolvers, which are my usual weapons of choice for Morty? Well, this is one reason. Ranger class mod. I might swap a few of these out. This is something I've always liked better about Borderlands 1 than Borderlands 2. I like the fact that in Borderlands 2, the bank, your weapon and item bank, is a standard feature of the standard game. That's something they definitely got right. But why such limited space? You start out with, what is it, 6 or 8 slots, and each upgrade to your bank only adds 2 spaces. I don't know if there's a maximum. If there's no maximum, that's definitely awesome. But here, you start with 12 and increase by a factor of 3 per upgrade. And currently maxed out for my level.
If he took more than one shot, you weren't using a Jacobs.
27 is the best I can get at this juncture. Oh, let's see. Where should I go and what should I do and what should I use to do it with? Oh, why do I have 2 volcanoes? Well, I just couldn't decide. They're pretty much evenly matched. But I'll most likely end up keeping this one. Because this one doesn't do all that much more damage. Base damage it is, per shot. Only holds 3 rounds and has a Type 1 scope. Whereas this one holds 6 rounds and has a Type 3 scope. And 0.8 versus 0.9 isn't really that much of a difference on a pump action weapon. I'll definitely take along one of these 2. But notice these are pretty much evenly matched. I just couldn't... You would probably think that I would just keep this one, since it's a purple, and sell the green. But this green label, Hyperion Deth gun, has a Type 4 barrel. And I like Type 4 barrels. Actually, on shotguns in this game, I like Type 3, 4, and 5 barrels for different reasons. Sometimes I like the tightness of the pattern of a Type 5 barrel, but on a combat shotgun, most of the time, if it has a Type 5 barrel, it suffers from a damage drop-off, sort of as a balancing factor, I guess. These are assault shotguns, so they don't have any sort of damage drop-off. But a Type 4 barrel usually offers the most damage, I think, of all shotgun barrel types. Correct me if I'm wrong, by all means. A Type 5 throws the tightest patterns. Yeah, I think I'll go with that one. A masher equalizer. The equalizer is my favorite legendary. It's also one of the most common. It's good that it's one of the most common, though, because it's one of the most practical, if not the most practical, of all legendary weapons. A revolver that regenerates ammo. You can use it to maintain a supply of ammo and base your entire loadout around revolvers. You can have, in this case, a masher. I don't like the fact that there's a scope on it because I don't like scopes on shotguns, or obviously a masher falls within the purview of shotguns or weapons that function in a fashion similar to shotguns. And by that I mean it throws multiple projectiles per shot. So you pair that up with a high accuracy scope revolver that functions as your sniper rifle. Then add an elemental in there, and then maybe offset that 3-piece revolver combo with something like, say, a machine gun, and you've got a well-rounded arsenal right there. Oh. Why do I have 2 equalizers? Well, I like shotguns and I like blades. So I couldn't decide. I just couldn't bring myself to get rid of either of them. Since I'm taking the shotgun with me, since I'm focusing on Hyperion shotguns with this character, it would be redundant to also carry a masher. It would be too obvious for me to take this with me, because I'm playing a rogue ranger, Morty, but I'm trying to do things in an unconventional fashion. I just said right after Butler Claptrap did, without even intending to. Should take at least one legendary with me since I've got all of these. Notice the slots I chose. This corresponds with the way most weapons in most FPS games, well, long story short, it's what I'm used to. Handguns in slot 1, shotguns or submachine guns in slot 2, combat rifles or machine guns, light machine guns or general purpose machine guns in slot 3, and sniper rifles or rocket launchers in slot 4. And here's a skill set I'm going with. I usually dedicate most skill points to Rogue, but with this character build, I went with Focus. I didn't go with Caliber, or haven't done so yet anyway, because that affects specifically sniper rifles. And on this build, I'm trying not to focus specifically on weapon types and instead choose skills that are more generalized. Focus increases accuracy with all weapon types. Smirk, again, that's not weapon specific. Deadly, that seems to go with Ranger pretty well since it It's all about critical hits. And lethal strike. I always, well, with every character that has skills that boost melee, I always prioritize that. Morty is a swashbuckler. Or can be. He can be an effective swashbuckler. Brutally effective melee fighter. Okay, where should we go? Since I already have this mission selected, I might as well get her done. Let's see what's on offer.
If he took more than one shot, you weren't using a Jacobs.
That is a well-built Vlad shotgun right there. A well-parted Vlad shotgun. It's blue label. Does barely less damage than this very excellent Hyperion. Of course, the accuracy is lower because it's a Vlad and it has a Type 3 barrel. Well, you know, actually, I don't really know what the standards are on that. I've seen shotguns of the same make, one with a Type 3 barrel, one with a Type 4, and the one with the Type 3 actually threw tighter patterns. But this being a Vlad, it focuses on fire rate and is basically full auto. But since I'm using a Ranger class mod, I'm going for a combination of accuracy and damage. Hence the focus on shotguns. This looks like it could be a good buy, though. I'll take it.
Get your minutes here. Going after the vault? Better arm yourself with the best.
I always begin an excursion with an empty backpack and only 4 weapons. I know most people, at least from what I've seen in gameplay videos, tend to lug a whole lot of stuff around with me. I like to keep my backpack open for stashing. And by that I mean collecting loot. Something else I've started to do is base vehicle color on my character's favorite brand. Same as with their clothing colors.
Satisfaction abounds.
Type 1 barrel, Type 2 barrel. I never use shotguns with Type 1 barrels because they have clunky sights. This one has a scope. I almost never use shotguns that have scopes. And the accuracy on this is way too low to justify it having a scope. And accuracy is way too low on this. The Type 2 barrel typically does offer less accuracy than the Type 1. All this low-level junk. Oh. Those things have a lot of splash to them.
I don't think he liked me. Did that hurt?
I've always thought the clipping or the hit detection in this game was off somehow.
What? You didn't like that?
Melee Morty. So much fun. With Morty, I usually use a scavenger class mod. And I almost always use purple label class mods. Almost exclusive. If they offer good enough perks, I'll use one that's less than purple.
Jacob scans do one thing really well. Power. And honestly, what else do you need?
I like pangolin rubberized grenades. Rubberized grenades in Borderlands 1 are way better than what they are in Borderlands 2. Borderlands 2, I never use rubberized grenades. I have experimented with them, but they have always yielded dissatisfactory results. So I just quit using them. They get sold. Lows. Remember, I've been playing Stalker, so...
To get shot.
How did I miss that?
I'm gonna kill you.
Well, I do have my sensitivity cranked all the way up. And I'm using a trackball. There's an upside and a downside to it.
If you're on a budget, TDR is always the way to go.
You never should have come here. Now you're gonna pay. Come on, little one. I'll meet your maker.
Oh. I'm gonna go ahead and buy this. Only to sell it right back. And I'll show you why.
Hyperion asks, what good is a gun that doesn't shoot where you point? Get a gun that's as accurate as you are.
Hey, now that's nice. The one and only thing I don't like about this pounder is it has a Type 1 scope. But everything else about it looks pretty good, so I'll buy. Obviously, I've got plenty of moolah here. I can earn it back. Okay, so why did I bother buying this? Let me show you. You'd think those sights would be pretty awesome, right? Well, they would be if they didn't disappear. Why do those sights disappear? This only happens on machine pistols. This does not happen on repeaters.
You like that?
S&S machine pistols are my faves. Why the disappearing sights? Well, why do they exist if they disappear like that? I don't care how much zoom they offer. They're iron sights. There shouldn't be any zoom, technically. These sights, on the other hand, are fine. By the way, this revolver has a Type 5 barrel. which is the most desirable type. Except on a masher. On a masher, it's totally personal preference. You might actually want a looser pattern on a masher. If you want the loosest pattern on a masher, then you want Type 2 barrel. I would consider these to be about evenly matched. Because this fires tri-bursts. This Dahl battle rifle. It has my favorite type of sight, the Type 2 sight, which is a dot sight. Extended magazine, 18 rounds. Typically, I will only use combat rifles if they have 18-round mags. 12-round mag just doesn't make sense on a combat rifle, since they, for some reason, fire only tri-bursts and are incapable of firing semi-auto. In real life, such a thing would never exist. I don't know why they can't get that through their heads in video games. Even if there's no full auto mode, there would always be a semi-auto mode. Also, how much sense does it make that this dinky magnifying lens of a scope, though is still a scope, offers less zoom than a dot sight? I think it's less. 1.4 versus 2.0. Yeah. That's video game logic for you. Pounders have better handling characteristics than sniper rifles. And you can carry a lot more ammo. Oh, these things are so annoying. I could just hack them all up with my saber, which is what I usually do. Oh, I hate that reload animation. I forgot this had that. That's the worst reload you could have on a revolver in this game. I hate that, and I hate it when you have a shotgun. It's a pump-action combat shotgun, and you have to take the time to hold it off to the side to pump it. I never use the ones that are like that, unless they have some kind of exceptional quality that makes up for it. Pardon my raspiness. Trashy Knoll. I hate this worthless scope. Why are there no combat rifles with iron sights in this game? I've never understood them. I suddenly had a flashback to playing Half-Life. So satisfying to whack head crabs out of the air with the crowbar. Kudos if you understand why I went. I know you probably understand, but... First of all, I hate spinning revolver cylinders in movies. And I hate the fact that that's carried over into video games. Other than that, I understand that the spinning of the revolver cylinder in this game anyway is part of the so-called equip speed or equip animation. Arbitrary. Why is there so much revolver cylinder spinning in FPS games? I'm missing my shots because I'm getting annoyed. Annoying, annoying, annoying. The last fuse should be right there. With a Ranger Morty, you most likely would want maximum tightness of pattern with mashers and shotguns, which means you want Type 5 barrels. Oh. Type 4 barrel. Type 1 sight. Type 1 receiver or body. The term body refers to receiver or frame, depending on the type of gun. If it's a revolver, it's a frame. If it's a combat rifle, it's a receiver. If it's a combat shotgun, it's a frame. If it's an assault shotgun, it's a receiver. I think Dahl and S&S are probably... the guns they make seem to be the most well-rounded, most jack-of-all-trades-ish.
Hi there.
How much you want to bet this guy's name, Johns, is in reference to the character Johns from... what was that? Pitch Black? The first Riddick movie? Hudson. Know what I mean, Vern? That would be an awesome shotgun. If not for the scope. Not a bad price. Why is it that 12-round cylinders on combat shotguns in this game appear to only have 8 chambers? So lame. Chicken head pistol grip, foregrip. Yet when you see your character holding it, they don't hold it the way you would hold that kind of foregrip. I just don't understand that. I'll hold on to both of these pounders for now. They both have a Type 1 stock, a Type 1 body or a receiver, a Type 1 scope. This Hyperion pounder has a Type 3 barrel, and this Dahl pounder has a Type 4 barrel. And this Hyperion one also has a recoil mitigator, or stabilizer. But because I'm going to be fighting these spider ants at close range, I prefer a dot sight over a scope, due to the uninhibited or less inhibited peripheral vision. It would be even less inhibited if there was no zoom whatsoever. If you ask me, they should have made the dot sight the Type 1 and the lame, dinky magnifying lens scope the Type 2 and switched around those levels of zoom. But that would have been too logical. Oh yeah, and the unnecessary cocking a weapon every single time you pull it out. I'm glad they ditched that in Borderlands 2. They did, didn't they? I don't recall there being unnecessary weapon cocking in Borderlands 2. Yeah. And game developers, programmers, and you modders too, quit doing that. Quit doing things the way they've always been done, because you've always been doing them wrong. No more twirling revolver cylinders. No more cocking guns when they ought not be cocked. If there's a round already in the chamber and you cock it, you're ejecting an unspent cartridge and wasting it.
Hi there.
I know it's a stylistic thing, but it's lame. You've gotten all these bad ideas from Hollywood.
Hello! There are new missions available at the Middle of Nowhere Bounty Board.
You don't need to be a better shot. You just need to shoot more bullets.
Oh, my favorite shields are the ones that are made by Pangolin, Anshin,
Whether
and
you are
Tor.
killing bad guys or exploring the unknown, you need a trusty gun by your side. Cheap, reliable, lightweight, and incredibly fast reload speeds. TDR makes an easy
Look at that.
to use gun.
2 legendaries for sale in the same vending machine. I've already got a Thanatos, and it's a caustic Thanatos. The thing is, I don't commonly, if ever, use elemental shotguns because they're just not reliable enough, even if they're legendary.
Hey, let's get you rolling, man.
Let me check this vending machine. And yeah, it has a Type 4 barrel that crux. All these guys are back already? Ugh, how did I miss? Oh, if I wasn't level 29, or if I was closer to that level, or if that was closer to mine. If it was a level 28, I'd consider using.
Awesome.
Oh, look at that!
Torque doesn't make their guns out of freaking wood.
Yet another ledge. This one I already have. Well, I think both of the ones I have back in my Underdome bank are better than this one. Because my other 6-shot Volcano does more damage than this and has a Type 3 scope instead of a Type 1. Okay. Off to New Haven. I used to work in New Haven. Of course, that was New Haven, Indiana. Not New Haven, Pandora. Then there's also a New Haven, Connecticut. Why is it spelled Connecticut? Nobody pronounces it that way. Everyone says Connecticut. Human languages are so messed up. There's no consistency whatsoever.
Did you need something? I hope whatever is in the vault can be traded for supplies.
Well, that's practical. 16. Don't insult me.
See you soon.
Hey man, hey, you need something? Hey, you keep yourself out of trouble.
I'll do the Crom mission some other time. Look at that. Another ledge. That's incredible. I've never had that happen before. I've had multiple, well, no more than 2 at a time, legendaries appear in a vending machine at a time, but I have never seen this many legendaries appear in this many vending machines consecutively before. The defender I currently have is better than that one.
Get your mans here.
I know I'm not going to find anything interesting here. It's just part of the standard ritual for New Haven. To go around and collect everything. Level 13? Really? So blasé. In Jacob's battle rifles,
Jacob's guns do one thing really well. Power.
in
And
Borderlands
honestly,
2,
what else do you need?
are in a certain sense kind of like the pounders of Borderlands 2. Now, what would be fun? I already did the first part of this. And no, I'm not going to go out there and collect the rest of the stuff around here. I know it's there, but I don't feel like doing that.
Atlas spares no expense in making guns that excel in every area.
Too bad that has a scope. I don't like scopes on rocket launchers. They just don't need them. It's unnecessary. I like the standard type sight, the circle thing.
Make sure you're packing.
What would you call that? An aperture?
Who needs a real doctor when you got my machines and their scary needles?
I don't usually use shotguns with this type of sight. I like just plain iron sights. This thing is confusing because you can't tell where the actual center of it is. You can't really tell where you're aiming unless you're looking at the on-screen reticle to see where it lines up. So I only use shotguns with this type of sight if they have some kind of exceptional quality to them. Hyperion shotguns are exceptional by default, as long as they have at least a Type 2 barrel, because they throw nice tight patterns. Just looks awesome. Oh. Do I want to use that? This is an awesome SMG. Excellent SMG. Torque Force. I don't know. I just bought this. But this has a blade on it. Oh. I'm narrowing it down. These are pretty closely matched. But it's not redundant. They're not redundant. I do like that rectangular scope that Oh, what's that called? I forget what type of scope that is. On a revolver. Now on a sniper rifle, the type 3 scope is the one that has the rectangular aperture. And of course, I'll be using this to regen ammo for this also.
I need fresher claptrap parts. These are already going stale. I'll reward you. Get them right out of the suckers if you have to.
Here's some off-planet. Smell oddly.
If you're playing Morty and you use a gunslinger class mod that has ammo regen, it will say pistol ammo regen, but it really means handgun ammo regen. Pistols and revolvers alike.
Do you need something? I guess you're leaving?
No, I'll save that one. Gwe. I need a swig of my drink here.